Malaysia and Indonesia have signed several agreements and treaties on trade, border crossings, as well as setting maritime territorial borders. The accords were witnessed by visiting Indonesian President Joko Widodo and Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim in Malaysia's administrative capital of Putrajaya. Both leaders also congratulated a joint mission to the European Commission last week, commending it for speaking with one voice, opposing discrimination against palm oil and its products. Malaysia and Indonesia together account for more than 85% of the world's palm oil output. CNA's Melissa Go has more from Kuala Lumpur.
Visiting Indonesian President Joko Widodo hit the streets of downtown Kuala Lumpur to greet his fellow countrymen at the local wet market. Now, this right after bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim in Putrajaya. Accompanied by Mr. Anwar, their arrivals were warmly received by traders and shoppers, now many from Indonesia. Now, Indonesia is the largest source of foreign labour, powering growth for decades in Malaysia. Now, President Jokowi, in a joint news conference earlier, acknowledged Malaysia's commitment to improve the protection of basic rights, welfare and livelihood of Indonesian migrant workers in Malaysia. Now, both leaders also congratulated the close cooperation undertaken by ministers of both countries to address highly detrimental discriminatory measures against palm oil through the introduction of the European Union Deforestation Regulation or EUDR.
Dan saya ucap tahniah kerana kedua-dua menteri dalam rapat di Eropah telah pertama kalinya satu suara Indonesia-Malaysia menyuarakan pertahankan kepentingan kelapa sawit dan tahu kita.
Saya sangat menghargai baru-baru ini dilakukan joint mission Indonesia-Malaysia ke Brussels dan kolaborasi semacam ini harus terus diperkuat. Jangan sampai komoditas yang dihasilkan oleh Malaysia, oleh Indonesia didiskriminasi di negara lain.
The joint mission led by Malaysia Deputy Prime Minister Fadillah Yusof and Indonesia Coordinating Minister on Economic Affairs Airlangga Hartarto met EU ministers in Brussels last week to convey their displeasure on EUDR that's discriminatory and punitive in nature, they said, against palm oil producers, including the smallholders. Now, they want EU to take prompt action to address the issue fairly and include their sustainability standards into the guidelines. Now, meanwhile, Malaysia said it may consider reviving bilateral trade talk with EU pending Cabinet's decision.
We will bring it up to Cabinet for discussion at the right time. But of course, we hope that EU realises that we have a strong position on this matter, which was conveyed by our Deputy Prime Minister together with his counterpart from Indonesia this year.
The EU anti-deforestation regulation, scheduled to come into force in 2025, requires importers to prove the supply chain through geolocation of where the products come from. Now, imports of palm oil and other products like cocoa, coffee, soya and woods are banned if they come from land that's deforested after year 2020. Melissa Go, CNA, Kuala Lumpur.